What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Streets Won't Forget podcast. I'm your host, Dodzi. I'm here with, um,
Louis,
yep, and
back again, Ryan.
yeah, Ryan's back again for another one. We thought we just had to come in because this World Cup is just moving mad fast. We got to keep up with it going into the quarterfinal games. Off the back of some very, very good last 16 games, some very strong performances. Um, let's start at Argentina. Let's start Argentina, Australia, and the Netherlands USA games. So I don't think we were all recording whilst we were watching the Netherlands USA game, but you lot caught the Argentina game. What do you think about them now? I mean, they're bouncing back quite strongly after their opening day defeat to Saudi.
I
What do
have,
you
I, yeah, I have a few words.
yeah.
Messi, Messi, Messi. Um, Elite performance from the GOAT. Elite performance. I know people say it's only Australia, but obviously it's a World Cup, round of 16 for your country. Stepped up, was amazing. Um, and yeah, all round game as well. I think in terms of collecting the ball from deep, dribbling with it, he almost scored an unreal goal. Um, just bringing his teammates into play, making everyone better. He was great. I think Argentina look stronger as the tournament goes on. Um, Tactically as well, Scaloni's sort of changed it a little bit during the games. I think in the 50th minute, he brought Martinez on, switched to a five once they were 2-0 up. In a way, it did kind of invite pressure, but at the same time, before Australia scored, it could have been 4 or 5, to be honest, to Argentina. So I'm impressed with him as the tournament goes on. Alvarez has been a great addition into the team. I'd like to see him and Lautaro Martinez up front together, which I don't think we are going to see. But his directness and the ability to get in behind is tenacity as well. Obviously, pressed Matt Ryan and scored the goal, which turned out to be the winner. So yeah, I've been impressed with them since their loss to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, right. I remember you the other day on the pod saying that Argentina, the South American teams, in particular Argentina, don't really impress you at the moment. Is your mind changing after that game or not really?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I think everyone knows Australia aren't going to be anyone's hardest game, but it's a round of 16 game at the end of the day. Messi was obviously world class in that game. It was a bit of a walk in the park around him. I think I saw Louis said something. I don't know if he was replying to a comment, but he said that's like the first time I've seen Messi enjoy himself that much in a game for like 4 or 5 years. And I
Yeah.
think that was more probably the opponent. But there was that incident, Louis just mentioned it, of Messi, that goal that could have been amazing. I feel like probably 4 or 5 years ago, Messi's legs, he's bagging that
Oh,
absolutely every
100%.
single time. And it would have been an iconic goal. But yeah, Argentina are probably they're not a team that I'd be terrified to play. I think the only team right now is Portugal even look unreal without Ronaldo last night. That was I don't know if that was just a one off, if that the replacement's going to play out of his skin again. But I'd say Portugal and Brazil. I'd say I'm more scared of than Argentina still.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I'm with you both. Messi was very, very good. He looks like you're right. He is enjoying himself again. Going to that game against Netherlands now. It's a repeat of I think they played in '98. Bergkamp scored that iconic goal,
Yeah.
iconic
Dennis
commentary.
Bergkamp, Dennis Mm.
Exactly that one there. That one there. I'm thinking that's a pretty even game. I can't lie. If I look on
Really?
paper, both teams, I mean,
Mm.
quite even. Cody Gakpo has been strong for the Netherlands this tournament.
Hmm.
Deep,
Yeah.
very good as well. So in those four areas
Yeah.
in the field, I think it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle. But what are you guys
Mm.
predicting for that game?
Um, just a quick side note before I say about how I think it will go. I think it's huge for the Netherlands that they've got Depay fit and now he's got the goal out of the way as well. Yeah. Because he's other than Gakpo, he's their only natural goal scorer in that side. And his record for them is incredible. I think he's almost or is, don't quote me, their top goal scorer of all time. And obviously, you think of some of the great forwards, the Van Persies, the Van
Yeah.
Nistelrooys,
He's got
the
that
Van
many goals.
Bastens. Yeah, I think he has like 45 goals in 90 caps or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
Van Persie's I think got 44. So yeah, that's fine.
yeah, so his
He's
like
done.
his record for them is very very good.
Mm.
So it's a huge bonus for them that he's back and he's firing now. I think tactically it's a good game as well because it will be interesting to see how the Argentina team plays with how Netherlands play because obviously they've got the aggressive wing backs, particularly Dumfries, and the fullbacks is probably Argentina's weakest point. So I'll be interested to see if Scaloni matches up to that and goes with a five himself, like he did in the second half against Australia, just to match up the wing backs and try and push them back a little bit. But I think that'll be a very close game. I've put for that game, I've put it to go to penalties and Argentina to win on penalties, but obviously pens is a roll of the dice. But I put 1-1. I think it'll be a
Yeah.
very even game.
I think they went to penalties again, 2014 semi-finals of the World Cup.
Correct.
They went to pens, and Argentina came out on top. If I had to predict that game right now, I think Argentina's spirit just seems to be quite high at
Yeah.
the moment. The Netherlands team, I don't feel like have had. They've been good, but I don't feel USA didn't really lay a glove on them. They didn't really had a big test yet. I think Argentina got more players like Messi who've played in bigger games. I think Argentina will come out on top. I'm saying 2-1 that game to Argentina. Right, what are you saying? Predictions?
I've got this down as similar to Tramiro, 2-2, Netherlands winning on penalties. I think pretty much what Louis said, it's pretty bang on. I agree with you, Doge, as well, about the spirit of Argentina in this tournament. And it does almost seem like everything's just going to Messi. And it is going to be him lifting that World Cup. And it's a final nail in the coffin for everyone that says Ronaldo's the GOAT. But I do have Netherlands winning on a penalty shootout. And I do think it does end there. I will throw out a rogue one out there that Messi will also miss a penalty and it'll be 5-4 to Netherlands. And that's the way it will go, sadly, for him. But like I said, the spirit thing, I think, is also very similar to the England-France thing. I think England's spirit and Argentina's spirit at the moment is it's strong. And the same with basically Portugal at the moment. Without Ronaldo, you see that team, they're just flourishing. So I can understand it to an extent, but I do think the Dutch are a stronger side, especially with the wing backs.
Just a quick one as well. I want to see what you boys think about this. Obviously, there was a lot of talk before the tournament about Argentina being a very small team. Now, the Netherlands are a very tall team. So do you think they could get some joy from set pieces? Because for me, when I've watched Argentina defend set pieces, I actually think even though they're vertically challenged per se, I actually think they've defended set pieces very well. I think Otamendi has won so many duels. I think Romero has been solid in the air. Martinez, for someone who's 5'9", seems like he wins every header as well when he plays. So do you guys feel like that is somewhere that Netherlands can get joy in that game?
Yeah,
no, go ahead, Doge.
Yeah, I think so, to be fair. I mean, they can. I'm not sure they necessarily will because, as you said, they've actually been all right from set pieces. Martinez, since he's come to the Prem, again, another example, he's actually been fine. He had that literally one moment, to be honest, against Brentford. People make out like it was a whole game. It wasn't even the whole game. It was a moment. And even that moment wasn't really him at fault. So they can, but, to put all your hope into set pieces is something, for me, that I feel like a big club should never really, big team, sorry, should never really do.
I agree.
So I don't know if they've necessarily even got the players to be drawing fouls like that, like Argentina have, So I'm not sure how many they'll get. I think transitions will probably be when Netherlands get joy, if they do get joy. So yeah, I'm saying that.
I do think when it comes to if you're going to struggle at set pieces, you're going to get found out when you come up against a competent, experienced side. The teams that they face at the moment probably their only chances are scoring from set pieces. However, they're not a team that will be able to put in the deliveries that some of these quality players from the Dutch side, from other nations, will be able to do. But yeah, they have defended well, but they are a very, very small team. And with Van Dijk on the corners, it will be a very different story to the nations they've played so far.
Yeah, I
I
forgot
agree.
about Van Dijk. That's
Yeah,
actually
Van Dijk's a big
he
guy.
hasn't had. To be fair, it's not really been the tournament yet for.
I haven't heard his name. To be fair, I don't think anyone's been talking about Van Dijk at all.
I,
Yeah,
I think as well. The way they play with the five as well, they've got like Ake and Timber either side of Van Dijk, and both of them are under 6 foot.
Yeah.
However, they do have obviously Gakpo's 6 foot plus. I think Depay's 5'10", 5'11". Van Dijk's obviously huge. So they do have height in the side. So they are quite a tall team, but it's not like a typical Dutch team where they'll have so many tall players. Because obviously the way they play.
yeah. I'm with that. Well, we'll see. We'll have to see how that game goes. Another quarterfinal, which is looking very, very good. It's obviously one close to us. England against France. The Mbappe test for England. Both teams, I feel like, had similar games in a way. I think England's performance might have been a little bit more impressive in terms of, limiting the opposition. I feel like France conceded more chances than England did to Senegal. But yeah, how do we see this game going? I mean, for me, I say it's even because on paper, England might shade it in certain areas, but obviously the Mbappe factor really, really pushes France up. Not just Mbappe, but Griezmann in the 10's been very, very good. Giroud's been key. I mean, it's been spoken about loads of times, but they're not really missing Benzema like they probably people thought they would. And Rabiot and Tchouameni midfield have been doing a good job there as well. Ryan, I'll come to you first. Obviously, you're usually quite a confident England fan.
Yeah.
For this game, how you see it going, man? Are you still confident or?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm actually like being a subject to a vibe thing at the moment. I cannot see us not beating France. I can't imagine us losing to France. So I'm actually like blocking out the possibility that it could happen. I've predicted when it came to it, I say England are winning no matter. I don't care how it happens on the pitch. England are going to be the ones going through in that game. However, when it came to putting a score line down, I was just going, well, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's going to happen. And I was like, shit, what is actually going to happen? Yeah. I went for a 2-0 England, and I think our defense is the best in the tournament. I think they're a sound group together. Maybe individually they're not the best, but I think as them together, I think they know each other so well now, tournaments after tournaments together. And I think it will come out on top. And I do think Mbappe will. There's so much pressure and hype on Mbappe going into this game. And like I assume both of you have heard what Carl Walker's been saying. It's England versus France. It's not England versus Mbappe at the end of the day. You have got a team. Because if one man could win it, Portugal and Argentina would have won a lot more trophies. And they haven't. It's your team. So I am actually interested to hear Louis' prediction, because he put in a prediction yesterday and then he goes, oh, shit. And I think the nerves kicked in for him. So I'm interested to hear what he's got.
Do you know what? Yeah, when I obviously was taking the notes for the pod, I had for the viewers, I had 4-2. Yeah, but then I sort of took my memory back to the games we have played against the big sides, where we played Germany, when we played Italy, and when we played Belgium, and none of them were high scoring games. I feel like, particularly under Southgate, when we play the big teams, we seem to be very conservative, and in a way it works. So I'm intrigued, and you know what? There's interesting matchups all over the pitch as well, because with France, right? Obviously, Dodzi made a good point on the previous podcast. We had a bit of a tiff over it in regards to Mbappe, whether you play Walker and Trent on that side, and obviously there's Mbappe and there's Theo Hernandez as well. Going forward, that's like electrifying. But I think going the other way, if we can get Saka in them pockets, if we can get Bellingham in them pockets behind Theo, sort of attacking Varane and attacking Upamecano. I love Varane, but I feel like both of them guys, if we can get Kane drawing one of them out, Saka going one side, Foden or Rashford going the other side. I feel like if we can get them in them pockets, it's as scary for them as it is scary for us as well. Obviously, you can make the same point in regards to, say, Shaw and Maguire. Imagine Dembele running at them or Mbappe running at them. So it works both ways, and I'm interested. But I feel like where the game's won and lost this game is the midfield, because I feel like we've got more of a sort of tenacious battle in midfield with Henderson, Rice, and Bellingham. And Bellingham has great technical quality, but I feel like they have the edge in terms of the technical quality with Tchouameni, Rabiot, and then Griezmann drops in to that sort of 10. He's even been playing deeper, like an 8 at times.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued how that goes. Obviously, Rice didn't train today, which will be a huge loss if he isn't fit. He's only an illness, so I suspect someone like Declan Rice, who's always fit for every game for West Ham in England, I don't think he's ever been. I suspect he'll be back. It's just whether he's going to be 100%, because he can be huge in stifling Griezmann getting on the ball, because like you said, it isn't England versus Mbappe, it's England versus France. And if we can stop the ball getting to Mbappe, we don't have to stop Mbappe. We can stop going to him. If we can stop Griezmann getting on the ball, we can stop Rabiot getting on the ball, we can stop their fullbacks getting on the ball. I feel like if we stop them doing that, if we press them and then we get our attacking players in behind, I think Koundé, Varane, Upamecano, and Hernandez are going to have sleepless nights for the next couple of nights about our front three. Maybe in front four with Bellingham in there as well. So I think, as I said, midfield's where it's won and lost, because the attacks are very even and the defences are both vulnerable, in my opinion. Even though we've kept a lot of clean sheets, I still feel like individually there's a mistake in there from them defenders.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When I made that point about Trent playing him over Walker, by the way, I was mainly actually relating to the last game, but even in general, the reason I have him is because, like you said, Louis, like France got to worry about what England have as well. I think going with the mentality of just like stop Mbappe is just like, again, like I said earlier with the set pieces thing, it's just small team mentality. In England, you know, in terms of quality, in terms of name, aren't a small team. I should really, of course, respect France. You know, they've got just as much talent as us.
And Mbappe as well, respect Mbappe as well, obviously.
Yeah, of course, respect to Mbappe, but you know, if you shy away from all your strengths, then like that's how you're going to lose the game, not by just worrying about Mbappe. Also, a point that's been mentioned quite a lot is the strength in depth going forward England have compared to France. I think that can be a key factor, both if
late in game.
If the game's tight, or even if the game, say England 1-0 up or 2-0 up, hopefully by that point. You can bring on a Grealish, you can bring on a probably Rashford. Rashford probably won't start. Sterling's not but France, who have they got ready to bring on? Thuram
and Coman.
Exactly. Coman's the baller, but he's not necessarily the most prolific. So,
and he's not been good this tournament when he has featured either.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of positives going forward for England, but you can never really be confident with these games, because I remember going to Croatia game thinking, you know, surely we've got the better players on paper, didn't win that game. Italy going into that game thinking, surely we've got the better players, we've got the home advantage, and, you know, started well. I wouldn't be surprised if, again, England start well in this game.
Yeah. Just on a point from that, though, right? Just on a point from that, obviously, the Croatia game was 4 years ago. The Italy game is a year ago now. We've played these games. We've played in semi-finals. We've played in finals. We've got that experience now. Yes, this France team are world champions. However, think about the team that played in the last World Cup and the team that's playing now. Mbappe played. Giroud played. Varane played. And Lloris played.
Yeah.
Other than that, and Griezmann as well. So 6 of their starting 11. Koundé wasn't a starter. Upamecano wasn't a starter. Tchouameni and Rabiot weren't starters. Dembele, I don't even know if he was there. Was he on the bench?
I don't.
Yeah, he started that tournament, then got dropped. Poor form.
Yeah. So I feel like in these games now, I feel like Croatia, that was a young England team, other than Henderson and Ashley Young. That was a young England team. And I feel like now these guys have played in Champions League finals now. These guys have won Champions Leagues. These guys have been in these big games. They're under some of the best coaches in the world. They've been there for England as well. So yes, there's still the mental block that comes with playing for England, but I feel like this group are closest to the brink than we've ever been, because they've been there and they've done that now, and they've worn the t-shirt in terms of playing in these big games. So your point about Croatia was right. Your point about Italy was right. I feel like the experience won both of those teams the games, and also as well that probably the technical level in midfield. But I feel like now these players know their game now, and they know how to come up in these big games.
Yeah,
even just the fear factor from 4 years ago, like we had, I can't remember who was even playing in that game, but I'm going to go out and assume you Dele Alli. I'm going to assume Sterling was in it. I think replacing that with a Bellingham, Saka, and Foden, who are all going to be world-class players if they're not now, but they definitely have the ability to. It's a completely different fear factor for your opposition. The teams looked at us back then as England always basically higher up in the odds. The fans overrate them. What can I do? And we overexceeded in that tournament because no one thought we was getting to semi-final. That's why the euphoria was so huge across the country. And then the Euros, we take the lead again. Well, Euros, we beat Croatia. We got over that hump. Yeah, they weren't. They are getting older. But we got over that hump, and then we get to the final. Home ground, a lot of pressure. We're the favourites in a final. I don't know how many times we're ever going to be a favourites in an international tournament in a final. And then we go 1-0 up. And it probably they just crumbled in the moment. It's their first international final. I think these guys, with the fear factor of this new attack, it will hinder France a lot more than what we have been able to do with our previous lineups.
Yeah.
Go
on, Dodzi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with all that. England have better players now than 4 years ago. Even have more experienced players now from 1 year ago against Italy. You've had players like Saka come in and go leaps and bounds. Bellingham is a whole year old. So I'm with all that. Only thing is, like I've said it loads of times in the group chat, I'm not forgetting those Nation League games against Germany, against Italy.
No, I hear it.
Coupled with that, France, I feel like have become this team where the odds are always, I don't know, just stacked against them, and they actually come out on top. Like Nations League final against Spain, first half they were getting ripped, and then they find a way to just come back 2-1, won that game. And I don't know, I feel like in their big games when they're really needing to win, like they don't really. This tournament as well, a lot of people were saying Denmark are probably going to beat them because Denmark beat them in the, I think, league or the game before.
Nations League. Yeah, Nations League.
And, they stepped up against Denmark. So that's where it is for me. That's the worry. Because I think on paper, it's like, we're gonna do on paper in a bit. On paper, it's give or take. But in terms of match winning ability, I've seen it in times, with England where Kane don't step up, Sterling don't step up, or Henderson's. I mean, that's 4 years ago. Henderson's booting the ball everywhere. So,
funny game that was, bro.
Yeah, so I'm hoping because I'm expecting England will start well. I think these big games England seem to start well, but as I say, I'm just hoping they actually have the experience to manage the game a bit better. So.
I would say since the World Cup final, I think Mbappe, I could be so wrong here, but I'm pretty sure in the biggest games since that World Cup final, I think Mbappe hasn't. I think he's pretty much lost them all. Would the Champions League final been after that?
Yeah,
got the France Switzerland after that. You've basically every year in the Champions League, they probably should have. They should be getting to every single final with the team they have.
Barca in the Champions League.
He stepped up on the losing side. That it just Mbappe isn't the be all and end all of this game, and neither is people. Like it's not going to be just Bellingham. It's not just going to be Kane. It's not going to be just Saka or Foden. I think our team is. Better.
Sorry. Just before we go on to the combined 11s, which we're going to do in a minute, I've just got a couple of quick points on one on England, one on France. So I've been really impressed with France in terms of how they've reacted to losing Benzema, losing Pogba, losing Kante, and losing Nkunku as well. There's some huge injuries. And I feel like the players have responded really well when it seemed like their backs were against the wall. And it's a young group. I know they've got experience in there as well, but it's a young group. So they've responded really well. But they've also not kept a clean sheet yet. And we've had one game where we haven't scored. And I feel like that was a game where we wanted a point anyway.
Yeah.
And on England, I feel like we've got two of the best players in the world at coming off the bench and relieving pressure. We've got Rashford, who is one of the best in the world at getting you up the pitch. He'll thrive on them long balls. And Grealish as well. Grealish always comes off the bench, and even if he isn't playing great or assisting or scoring goals, he'll win you free kicks. He'll be frustrating. He'll be, he'll get on the ball and he'll be brave and he'll try and do things. And I think against some tired legs, against a sloppy France back four, I feel like that could be a game changer as well. And whereas I feel like they don't really have that off the bench.
Yeah.
Nah, they don't. We said it to Ram and
come on.
Is that really all there? I mean, who else? They've surely got another attacker they can bring.
They're all injured. They're all out of the tournament. They're game changers.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to call them game changers, but
yeah, I'm surprised when Benzema got injured, they didn't call up Martial just as like an extra forward.
I think that was insane as well.
Probably get injured. Man. This always
but I know he is, but still. Yeah, still like he's someone who would be good off the bench in terms of he can get on the ball and he'll keep a hold of it, and he's got a goal in him as well. So I'm surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Combined 11. How are we doing this? We're going to go position by position and then choose. All right.
And then we'll just debate and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Pickford or Hugo Lloris. I'll give Lloris the nod. And
quick sidebar: is this international versions of these players, or is it everything?
This is if you were the manager, right? Who would you choose?
Okay. Can I just say, if the better goalkeeper is Lloris, if I'm the manager, I'm picking Jordan Pickford because Lloris is horrific on the ball.
Yeah,
and I think Pickford's been very good on the ball this tournament. He isn't usually, but he has been this tournament.
I think Pickford's got a good punt. That's it. That's it. I don't think he sees passes like short.
Lloris don't even have that though, bro. Lloris can't kick the ball past the halfway line.
I actually think Pickford's better keeper. I just think he's the better keeper. I do not watch Everton, so I don't have that stained images that probably Everton fans feel every week maybe. But for England, every time I watch him, I just think he's absolutely amazing. And they are two unreal saves against Senegal that are just so important. And he does it. It seems like every single tournament he does it. So I will never turn my back on Pickford. I feel like my team could be heavily English. Though.
Yeah, I've picked Lloris because I've got to respect Lloris. He's a World Cup winner. He's played so many games. He's so experienced. He's played for big clubs, obviously in Lyon and Tottenham. Not like huge tier clubs, but still clubs where there's pressure to perform. And he's made some big saves to obviously kept them in it before they scored against Poland. So I'm going to go Lloris just because he's got the credit in the bank. But if I'm a manager and I'm going to pick, I'd pick Pickford. But I will give Lloris the benefit of the doubt because of he's Lloris. He's a World Cup winning captain. So
fair enough. I mean that one.
Go Lloris on that one.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, right back. Who are we choosing? Who am I choosing?
Kunde or Walker?
In the team that I've made, I'm putting Trent Alexander-Arnold. But it's probably all round. It's probably Walker. But in the team that I've specifically made, I'm putting Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I went between the two teams, like what lineup I think they're going to make, and then done the two. Like so, I done Kunde and Walker, and I went with Walker.
England definitely take right back because Kunde is not even really a right back like that. And
no, it's not. Same with their left back.
So I mean, anyone really like Walker. I'll obviously have Trent, but
I'm happy with Walker or Trent.
Yeah, we'll go Walker.
Walker makes more sense because he's already playing, so we'll go Walker.
Yeah.
Teo Hernandez or short left back.
I've I've gone Teo. If it was Lucas Hernandez, I'd have gone Shaw, but I've gone Teo Hernandez because he's just great.
Yeah,
he's just really good. I love Luke Shaw as well, but he's got a habit of playing people on side. He hasn't done it as much for England, but for United, he has a habit of playing people on side and sort of like jogging back. With England, obviously, when we play deeper than United do and have more of the ball than so at times less of the ball, at times more of the ball. But I feel like Shaw's weaknesses, as a lot of the other players are not as seen in an England shirt as they are at United. Obviously, it is internationally. It's actually you know what? The more I think about it, it's tougher. But I'm going to go to Hernandez.
Yeah, you know what? I can't say I watch bare AC Milan, but the little I do see of AC Milan, yeah, I see Hernandez doing madnesses. Won the league last season as well for them. And
fantastic last season, man.
Yeah. And I don't know. I have to take these things into account. You know, Shaw's been on good form recently. Started the season, though, he was benched by Malacia. I do think I'll go with Hernandez, to be honest. I think overall he's probably the more informed left back. So Hernandez gets that. Centre backs, then. What are we? This is a weird one, you know, because obviously they've got players like Saliba, France. I think we've got players who people may rate like Tramiro or Ben White, who ain't even in the squad, and Saliba's not starting. But if it was to me, right now, I'll go with John Stones and Meccano. John Stones and would I even go with Meccano? But
nah, I've gone Stones and Varane.
I've gone Stones and Maguire. I promise you, I'm taking England's back four and goalie. If I'm looking at this team and I'm not just doing it individually, and I am just genuinely creating a team to go out and play, I love England's.
What you're saying? If I can choose my favorite, who I prefer, I'm choosing the England players.
No. It's not prefer. It's like if this team is going to play together. Like, I'm not doing it individually. If this team's going to play together, I think those England back four play so well together at the moment and previous tournaments.
It's crazy to not have Rafa Varane, who, when he's fit, is one of the best centre backs in the Premier League. When he's not fit enough and he gets injured a lot, but
then we just don't see it enough.
No, he is really good.
I think it would even be harsh to take Maguire out when I think he's been absolutely superb in every single England tournament.
Maguire
world class.
Maguire don't even start over Varane at club level.
This is club level. This is international football, baby. All right, okay. I don't care about no United. I'm going Maguire and Stones. I hate the French. It is really hard for me to do a combined 11. I hate the French so badly.
Nah, I can't. I'm not even Champions League Varane's biggest fan, man. But if, as Louis said, if he started for him over at club, right, and at international level, he's not done too badly either. Let's be real. Then he gets in, man.
France, Deschamps rushed him back, wrapped him up on cotton wool to make sure he was fit. If Lloris didn't play, Varane's their captain. Varane's the captain on the pitch. Lloris is a goalkeeper. Varane's the captain on the pitch. And for France, I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad game for France when I've watched France. I've seen him have a couple of dodgy games for United and a couple of dodgy games for Madrid, but for France, he's exceptional.
Yeah, I'm low-key with that.
Saved them the other day as well with a clearance off the line.
So Varane and Stones got the nod there at centre-back.
Outrageous.
Are we going with... Yeah, what formation are you going to go with then? 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or
3-1.
4-2-3-1.
But 4-3-3 kind of 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, it works. So pivot. I would go with... I'll go Rice and Tchouaméni.
Same.
Actually, no, I'll go with Henderson and Tchouaméni, to be fair. I'll go with that.
I'm going to go Rice and Tchouaméni, and I think that then gives Trent and Hernandez. I know it's Walker, but on my team, Trent and Hernandez can then just bomb forward and not have to worry about defending as much.
With that,
yeah, I'm going Rice and Tchouaméni.
Straightforward one, Rice and Tchouaméni at DM, centre mid. Cam. Ooh. Got Bellingham, you got Griezmann.
Oh, bro, that's such a tough choice, man. That's such a tough
Bellingham
choice.
and Griezmann, really. You've also got,
Yeah,
Madison.
you got Madison. Ryan's probably gonna pick Mount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
I'm gonna. Do you know what? Yeah, I love Griezmann. I think he's one of the most underrated players of our generation. Like in terms of what he's achieved when he stepped up. Some of the bum he had to play with for France and stepped up. But I think we're doing a disservice to Bellingham if he's not in this team. So I'm gonna go Bellingham.
Yeah. You know what? If I think about it, Bellingham is the future, man. Griezmann is balling out this season. Sorry, not this season. It's World Cup.
Tournament, yeah.
This tournament, and you could make a case overall he's probably been better than Bellingham. I mean, I know Bellingham had the moments. Well, I don't know who I'm gonna pick, man.
It's tough. It's really, really tough. Because if this gets clipped on TikTok, people are gonna call us crazy, bro.
I know. Bellingham over Griezmann. You know, I always go by the thing of who's gonna affect my team more, who's gonna make more of an impact. And Ross Bellingham in the 90 minutes, he might lose the ball a bit, but I think he's more likely to have the impactful moments. So I'll go with Bellingham. Ryan, you with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bellingham.
The Birmingham Yaya Toure, bro. The Birmingham Yaya Toure.
Yeah, I can see that.
And also, I do just want to point out a load of comments on our TikTok page are going for everyone about Bellingham basically not being in our team of the tournament. That team of the tournament was before the round of 16 game, and personally, I think he had a stinker against USA. So yeah, we was going off Wales and Iran, so it wasn't really a lot to go off. But he was unreal against Senegal, and if I did have a team of the tournament after Senegal, I would probably put him in there. Yeah. And still maybe not. I'd still might put Bruno in there.
I probably wouldn't put him in there still.
Yeah, Bruno has been unreal, and after that Portugal game,
yeah.
And I'm with that. Right wing. Got Saka or Dembele. It's a tough one, man.
Usman.
Usman.
Left foot, right foot, dribble, passing, everything. Electrifying speed, insane feet. I think Saka can get to that level, but I think, you know, with Saka, right, he's great, but he's not someone who I look at and I think he's like really scary. Whereas Dembele, like, he can take the ball to feet. He can go in behind. He can go on his left foot. He can go on his right. He's got everything to be elite, like seriously elite. So I think Dembele.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
You could put Foden on the right.
Huh?
You could put Foden on the right.
Oh, you could put Foden. I actually forgot about Foden. I'm gonna put Foden on the right.
True.
I don't think Foden's the best right winger in the half, so I'm not gonna put him. Whilst I think Dembele is definitely the better natural footballer, right foot, left foot. He's a better natural footballer than most players. Maybe even nearly him and Foden, probably the two best from both teams. I think Saka's obviously his intelligence is what carries him so far. Knowing when to give and go, knowing when to take on the man. But who am I going to choose out of them two? I would probably go with, Dembele, and the main reason being is that as great as Saka is, as great as he's done, this guy is still quite new for him. Dembele is, he hasn't played Champions League, Saka. So I think I'll go Dembele. Did we all have Dembele?
Yeah.
Oh, Dembele. Out on the left.
Rashford.
Mount.
Yeah, Mount. Rashford wins that 2-1, so we'll go.
Yeah, there we go.
Of course, it's Mbappe. He's the most impactful player in the world at the moment. He's
Gilly.
He's the player at the moment who can actually win the game in his own more than anyone else, I think. So not really much more needs to be said, I guess, on Mbappe.
Strikers are given as well, right?
Strikers.
Callum Wilson, Dodzi.
Callum Wilson, bro. Look, he's not even
fit for the game.
I'm not, but slightly, Giroud's got a little bit of a case. I can't lie.
There's
I
no
actually,
case.
I know, I
don't.
hear it. I hear it.
Giroud definitely has a
No,
case.
no, 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 no. I'm not. I'm not saying he's not a good player. He's not a great player for France. But if you had to take one, you're taking Kane. And I don't. And I think it's like 100 times out of 100. I feel like if there's a case, you got on some days you go maybe Giroud, but it's Kane, Captain Kane.
What, even though Giroud led his team to the Serie A title last year and led Chelsea to the Europa League title.
Yeah, but then I mean, put Kane at Milan and put Giroud at Spurs. Kane would still win the title, and Giroud would still wouldn't make. Well, they wouldn't make top four without Kane and Giroud in his place.
Yeah,
I mean, Kane's not made top four every season for Spurs, by the way.
I know, but Kane for that Milan side last year, him and Leao up front together would feast.
We had I had a little debate at work. We were saying is the gap bigger between Mbappe and Foden than it is between Kane and Giroud?
Oh,
is the gap bigger?
I think that's smaller between Kane and Giroud.
I think the gap's smaller between Kane and Giroud because I think
that's what I said.
I think Mbappe is probably the best player in the world. I mean, obviously Messi exists, so I get the case for him being the second best player in the world. But in terms of threat, he's the best player in the world. And Kane and Giroud's won more trophies. I mean, Kane's goal scoring record's obviously better, but I think that's way closer than Mbappe and Foden. Foden's not achieved. I mean, Foden's won loads of trophies as well, but he's not not had like a season or multiple seasons or one tournament where he's been seriously elite.
I would argue though that Mbappe has only got the World Cup above Foden because Mbappe hasn't won the Champions League as well, and they just both win their leagues, they win their domestics. But I think it is just that one World Cup tournament that does obviously, and just the eye test. Mbappe is unreal, and he is in unreal form. But it is just the World Cup trophy, probably when it comes to honours. Pardon?
You mean in terms of careers, he's only got the World Cup over him?
Yeah.
Or in general, okay, all right, yeah.
I do actually agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Because Man City and PSG are so similar, and they've both lived in those teams. They dominate their leagues, they win their domestics, and then both these teams. It's like, is it their year? Every year for the past 3-4 years, it's been which one of them is going to win it eventually? They never do. Yeah. I do think one of them will this year.
Yeah, that's what last year.
I've said that last 3 years. So.
That'd be Benzema,
yeah.
Nah, just quickly though. You know, you said the point about what was it? You know, swap them in, put Giroud and put Kane in Milan and Kane with Feast. But we've seen, right, and I know he's injured, so you can't really say for sure. But we saw it last year as Benzema came into the France team, and the expectation always was, whilst Benzema wasn't in the France team, oh, imagine he was in this team, right? Benzema did well in the France team last year, yeah. But France weren't as good in the Euros as they were in the World Cup.
True.
And Giroud definitely adds that glue to the France team at front that no one else has seemed to do. But yeah, Kane gets the nod because in terms of when he's at his best, like he's up there with Lewandowski, and that's it. To be fair, so Giroud when he's at his best is probably up there with like I don't know tier below that slightly, like maybe like a prime Lukaku or someone.
Higuain,
yeah, them sort of strikers.
I'd argue Giroud is better than Lukaku. I think Giroud's best is better than Lukaku.
Probably.
Well,
not their best, but the consistency and stuff like that.
And just footballing ability and team gelling wise. I do think,
Giroud's a better footballer, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, and manager, who we going for? Southgate or Deschamps?
Fucking hell, the water carrier, or the fucking spoonhead.
Southgate has not gone out before the semi-finals.
I'll go Deschamps because he's won the World Cup and made a Euro final as well. I know Southgate has as well, but do you know what? Actually, that do you know, low key, that Euro final, that they lost, that was in France as well. That's very, very similar to and then they went on to win the World Cup. That's very, very similar to England.
Oh, there we go. I've been looking for a weird stat all tournament to just make sure that England win it. France have just given me it right there.
Nah, that's facts, to be fair. It's similar because both at their home ground. But Deschamps won the league, I think, for PSG as well. I think that gives him the edge. Whereas,
he's definitely the better manager. But
Southgate was getting relegated. Southgate for a bit.
Don't be doing that. Come on. Let's not bring up Southgate's club career.
I mean, as well, the way we've got to really judge it, who looks better in a waistcoat? Southgate.
So, there you go.
Southgate gets the nod.
Yeah. So.
Right, that's the team. Lloris in goal, Walker, Stones, Varane, and Hernandez, Declan Rice and Tchouameni, Dembele, Bellingham, Mbappe, and Kane. I don't think you can have many arguments with that. I think the players that would get in probably would be Griezmann. I think Saliba's great. I'm so surprised he's not playing, but manager sees him in training every day. So yeah, I mean, any more comments on the France England?
Nah,
not really. 2-0 win England.
Yeah, I'll do my score prediction. I'll go with. I did this for the Senegal game, right? I'm gonna go over 1-1 and penalty win. Penalty win.
What, an England penalty win?
And Saka to score the win penalty.
I would love it. I would love it, but it almost seems like that's way too poetic. That's way too perfect for Saka to score a penalty.
Football always writes the script for us, bro.
It does, yeah. That would be unreal. And Mbappe miss. Oh God, it's perfect.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1 to England, but I think France score first, and we all shit ourselves, and then go and win.
They'll go in for the kill, and we'll catch them in transition.
Yeah.
Nah, you take any of those scorelines, to be fair.
I'll take every one.
Yeah.
And then potentially after that, it's the winner not potentially, it's the winner of Morocco v Portugal. Both teams played yesterday. Portugal resounding 6-1 win against Switzerland. I had Switzerland upset them. How wrong was I? Portugal absolutely wiped them. Gonçalo Ramos comes in. Certain man's goat's getting dropped. This guy's got a hat trick.
Hey, he was there for vibes.
What's going on, man? Ronaldo, you're a big Ronaldo man, but
yeah.
Surely.
I was shocked. It was the bollocks on the manager to drop Ronaldo after the 3 group stage games in a round of 16. I was definitely shocked. It's not the career's coming to an end now. His competitive career, in my opinion, now. Ramos's hat trick was an absolute nail in the coffin. One thing that I think I'm probably naive to, but when I watched that game and I was watching Ramos, it didn't seem like Ramos was doing that much. Like, it just didn't seem like it, and he got the hat trick, and you'd almost feel like when Ronaldo came on, like there was one pass. I think I've forgotten that. I think it might have been Leao. It could have been someone else, but I put it in the group chat. So it was a cross, and it literally could have just went straight across into Ronaldo's path for a tap in, and he just smashed it over his head. And I was just like, that is a cross to say, fuck you. It's almost like, get out of my team as well. It seemed like that. It just seems like the team no longer want to play for him, which is the complete contrast for Argentina and Messi.
Yes, again. So United don't really.
No, I think
like
no. I think the teams are fed up with his ego. I think they don't. I think they see the decline, and I just don't think if you was in a sports team and the better team option is on the bench, I feel like subconsciously you're not gonna play for that team as well as you will if it's a different lineup, and I think that is just playing a massive part when United play without Ronaldo and when Portugal play without Ronaldo at the moment.
Yeah. Put it this way, yeah. You know when we used to do exams and that back in school, You know when the invigilator, yeah, would like come and look over you, yeah. Did you man get nervous even though you knew you were doing nothing wrong?
Yeah, 100%.
That's how it feels when Ronaldo's playing. It feels like they're trying to force it to him, and everything's
Oh
about
yeah,
him. Everything goes through him. It's almost like that nervousness. It's like it's almost as if they're within themselves when he's there, and
yeah,
that's not necessarily his fault. That they're grown men; they should be able to make their own decisions. But
exactly.
it almost feels like there's a black cloud over everything. Whereas when Ronaldo's not there, they can play with freedom and they can express themselves,
Yeah,
and then they don't have to worry about the narrative of Ronaldo's there, why didn't you play it into him, blah 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 blah. And he's such a pantomime villain these days. It's like for United it was like it, for Portugal it was like it. It's almost like even now Portugal have won 6-1. The only stories I've seen is
oh
about
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. That's the only stories I've
Nothing
seen.
about Ramos.
No,
Hat trick on your debut. He played 30 international minutes for that, and he gets hat trick, and it's all about Ronaldo. Which, and I saw a photo of him, the bench lining up before the game, and all of the camera crew are literally just lined up in front of the bench, and not even the team out on the field. And yeah, it was a bit wild, but yeah, it is. It's just
When
come to an
when
end for
fans
him.
were like even when he came on, it was like the loudest cheer, and
Yeah, it was.
it felt like a testimonial.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like that's what Portugal are feeling now. Like
Yeah,
it's almost as if Portugal are now, we want to win it for you and thank you. We don't want to win it with you. Pretty much, like
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
stay on the bench. We'll win it for you. We'll give you a great testimonial. We'll respect you. You're our greatest player of all time. But just sit on the bench and
Mm.
let us try it.
And I don't give Ronaldo enough credit. Right, he is the best footballer they've ever produced, the best footballer they will
Yeah,
ever produce, and
yeah,
he is bigger than that whole country in terms of football. Bigger than most clubs.
yeah,
He is one of the greatest of all time,
yeah,
and he obviously deserves the respect. But I feel like now is the time. Let the young guns do it. Let the energy and the vibrance take
yeah,
play. And bro, you can offer something by not playing. You can offer something being on the bench and being a coach and being there and giving
yeah.
your experience to the younger players. So I think if he doesn't play the next game, which I don't know why I have a feeling he's gonna play, bro. I don't know. It just feels weird. I feel like he will. I don't know. I feel
Nah,
like
they can't.
they
Can't happen,
can't.
can
But
it?
I feel like Fernando Santos put him on the bench to punish him for the reaction being subbed against South Korea, and I feel like his intention was to bring him back in for the next game. And I didn't think he thought that.
And then Ramos threw that out the window.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that they thought that was going to happen. So he's got a dilemma now, and maybe
Yeah.
he's turned around. Maybe he said to Ronaldo, like, "I'm going to bench you for the next game." He probably hasn't, but maybe he said, "I'm going to bench you for the next game and bring you back in for the quarterfinals." And then
Mm.
you know what Ronaldo's like. He's gonna if he gets dropped again, he's gonna go to Piers Morgan and say, "Oh, he promised me that he'd play me in the quarterfinal, and he didn't. I feel like you disrespected me."
literally, yeah.
um. So,
I
so
hear
yeah,
that. I hear that. Yeah, I kind of feel like Ronaldo might come back in as well. Because that's a good point you made, Ryan. Ramos with his goals yesterday didn't feel like he's necessarily, performance wise, doing maybe that different to Ronaldo. But I
he's just
think,
running behind, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just the sharpness and the athleticism.
Unreal finish on that first goal, though. That was
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
insane.
I don't
yeah.
think he meant it, but
No. Well, it's a shot. It's just that was perfect. So but
yeah.
what can you say?
I'll be real. I hadn't heard of him until yesterday, and like,
Yeah, I'd heard of
Me
him,
neither.
but not like I knew PSG were after him in the summer. So I knew he was like a hot property, like a hot talent. But I always felt like the perception of what I'd heard of him was that he was not a complete product yet. He was someone you bring in, and maybe 2-3 years down the line, he becomes your starting number 9, and you bed him in.
How
Um,
old is he?
21.
21.
so yeah,
Think because I was under the impression coming into this tournament, Ronaldo will start because they haven't got an option. That was my impression going
I,
into the tournament.
I actually thought they would drop Ronaldo and play João Felix as a false 9. That's what I thought would happen, and then play Leao on the left.
yeah.
Leao
Didn't
only
happen.
got a few minutes and still bagged it. Well, the keeper had a shocker, but
Yeah, it
played a
was a
few
great
minutes
finish.
and scored.
Yeah, it's a great finish though.
That
Yeah.
was a banger. But yeah, what they got Morocco next. Shout out Morocco.
My Moroccan boys.
Yeah.
I see the comments.
Yeah, shout out Ryan, man. Shout out Ryan. I can't.
Moroccan Morley. Moroccan Morley is my new name. I've been there as well. Lovely country.
Is it? Yeah. You called it. You said even before the prediction, you said they've been the team like you're most impressed by other than England.
Yeah.
And took Spain all the way yesterday. Spain, same old story for them. Russia last time in the World Cup, 0-0. Or it might be 1-1, lose on penalties. I've seen the Spain game so many times where they just have bearable and can't really break the team down.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed because I don't know. I think this Spanish team, like the asset they have of keeping the ball, could have got them so far. But it feels like after that game against Costa Rica, they just couldn't get there.
Why didn't Morata play?
I said it in the last podcast as well. I'll go back to that Morata point in a second. I do think that first game was just an anomaly, and they weren't that great afterwards in Germany and the final game. And then in that game, I think it was Rodri came out and said, without disrespecting Morocco, they just sat back and countered. I was like, yes, that's their game plan. They're going to do that.
Yeah, and
but yeah,
they
Morata not playing was.
Yeah, that's weird. I think with Morocco, and it's similar with Spain, right? Just before I go into this point, actually, Bellingham has now said to Musiala, Pedri, and Javi to come outside. He's shown them levels. Anyway, Morocco don't
especially
score
Musiala.
Yeah, Morocco don't score goals. That's going to be the problem. Even if they manage to somehow get a result against Portugal as well, I think just gonna throw my prediction out there now. I think Portugal win 1-0. I think it'll be very resilient. I think it will be a very, very tough game for Portugal. I don't think it will be easy. I think Morocco will have chances, but they just don't have someone to score goals, which is going to be a major issue for them.
Yeah. They've only scored 2, right? This tournament?
Yeah, they've 2 or 3.
Oh, they scored 3. To be fair, they've scored 4 because they beat
2 were from set pieces, right?
Thing is, on the counter, they actually in that Spain game they didn't look useless on the counter, and they played so much better when they're in tight spaces. And it seems like when they had space on the ball and time on the ball, they actually just didn't know what to do with it. But in tight spaces, they looked really good on transition and dangerous.
Yeah, one of my favorite players to watch this tournament's been Buffal. I don't think he's a great player, but he's so fun, man. He does his little step overs and his little body feints, and he's just one of them guys. Like, he's going to be a streets won't forget World Cup edition player. Like he's so fun to watch, man. I think it was I don't know who it was. Yes, I think it was Laporte, and he didn't even touch the ball. He did 3 body feints and went past.
Yeah. I saw that.
And I was like, bro, this guy moves his hips like Shakira, bro. Like this guy's sick to watch, man.
I saw that. Same Buffal, he scored that goal for Southampton.
Yeah, he's always been like a baller, innit? Shout out Amrabat as well. Like there's going to be a lot of Prem clubs calling for this guy. He looks like, as Culture Cam says, a real man.
Real men.
A real man. He's the captain of Real Men FC. Him and Pepe are like 2 real men.
Didn't have enough real men.
Yeah, he fights. He puts his body on the line. He's great on the ball as well. And he stepped up for them a couple of times yesterday when he was needed. So yeah, big shout out Morocco. Big shout out as well Hakimi. That penalty, that man has got a set of
chef's kiss.
Born in Madrid,
that was unreal. Well, apparently his celebration was all to do with like Sergio Ramos or something being dropped.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you know what, man? That's another thing. I mean, we could go into a bit of an inquest to the Spain team, but what I will say is it's easy to do this now they're out, but some of their decisions in terms of squad selection are looking a bit strange.
I know there was I know during the Euro, but like before the Euros, there was a whole thing about Enrique favouring Barcelona players. And I feel like that was the same in this World Cup because like Busquets, we're never going to see anyone like Busquets again either. Like he is a generational 1 in a million footballer, but he's 35, he can't move. Right now, this moment in time, Rodri is a better 6 than him.
100%.
So why play Rodri as a centre back?
Yeah.
Just play Rodri as a 6 and play an actual centre back at centre back.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And play an actual striker up front. Play Morata. You've got a striker there. Play Morata up front. Why do you need to
Like,
play
even just a
Morata?
target man to get to. Just
Yeah.
they got their positionings all wrong in this tournament.
Yeah. I feel like Enrique and I feel like Flick did it as well. Like, they're two great coaches, but I feel like they had like the Pep illness where they just overthought it. And I feel like in international football, if you overthink it too much, like you just come up short. Yeah, you just come up short. It's all about vibes and giving your players the best opportunity to express themselves. Whereas I feel like Enrique just does what Pep does and just overthought it.
Yeah, 100%. Again, like their flank options as well. Danny Olmo always seems to get the nod. I know he scored that first.
He must have Enrique's nudes, man.
Honestly, I mean, I don't see it with him.
Well, Ferran's got his daughter's nudes.
Yeah, they've got good options.
Yeah, he does.
Williams, Patty, but yeah, didn't seem to make enough use of them.
I don't know if I put my prediction in for Morocco, Portugal, but I am gonna back my Moroccan boys again, and I am gonna go 2-1. I think they will be in the semi-final. I do think they'll probably go out in the semi-final if it is Brazil on the other side. But
it's England on the other side. It's England.
It's England.
France.
Yeah, they're definitely going out. Sorry, Moroccan people. Moroccan Morley is on a loan basis. But yeah, you'll get to the semis and meet us. But 2-1.
What am I going to go for? These men played each other last World Cup as well. Portugal won. But I don't know. Because I don't know, Moroccan Morley kind of has me. I feel like Morocco on a bit of a wave.
Vibes. The vibes are so good.
No, though. It reminds me of Ghana in 2010, man.
Yeah,
it's great, but it's the first Arab team to get to a quarterfinal. Do you know? I would love an African team to make the semi-final. I think it would be great for football. It would be great for the continent. It would be great for Arabs as well, Arab football, where they love football in that part of the world. Like they will die for football that part of the world. So I would love that. I just think it's just
so Tramiro, what if they do start Ronaldo?
Oh, 0-0. Morocco win on pens again.
Nah, you know, it was tight between them last time. Portugal only won 1-0. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 heartbreaking Bruno Fernandes dagger in the last 5 minutes. Bruno's gonna get one of his little goals, man.
The Moroccans are coming for you, man. In the comments again, they'll be back. They'll pin this.
I actually think Ronaldo scores off the bench and they win 1-0.
Oh, I'd love that, Loki. I would love that.
Yeah, you'd love that, man.
I think he scores a header off the bench.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And then he might come in for the semi-final, which might not be good for Portugal.
Yeah, but he'll have a chip on his shoulder.
It'd be bloody great for us.
If it's England, he will have a chip on his shoulder, and I can see
it's kind of written for him. It's kind of like Messi. It's written for Messi in a way. It is written for Ronaldo, and they can face each other in the final if they win their games.
Do you know?
I can picture it. For a tournament, Argentina, Portugal.
I can see it. He scores and he does like a little karma over to the England bench.
Oh man, I don't want that final, man. I don't want that final. Too much D-riding on TL, man. Allow it,
England boys.
But yeah. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to touch on?
Pretty much it for me.
That's it, man. That's it. Yeah. I'm just gonna wrap up with my predictions, like just to refresh.
Okay.
Get my note page up. Yeah. So I've gone. Oh, we didn't touch Brazil, Croatia. I've gone 1-0 Brazil in that game. So England 2-1 France. Brazil 1-0 Croatia. Netherlands, Argentina 1-0 Argentina pens, and Portugal 1-0. I think there's going to be 4 very, very boring games all round. I think England, France will be the least boring, but I think 4 very, very boring games all round. Very cagey affairs.
Yeah, I hear that. Right, what you go for Brazil? Do you want to run through yours, or do you just want to do the Brazil?
Yeah, I'll try and do it off memory because mine's on my phone. If someone reads out the fixtures, I've got the results, but I've got a 2-2 Netherlands, Argentina, Netherlands to win on pens. I've got England 2-0. Captain Kane's going to score a penalty and Phil Foden's going to put Mbappe in a casket. And then we have got Morocco, Portugal. I'm going with the Moroccans. I'm going 2-1. Brazil, Croatia. I am going 3-1 Brazil. And yeah, that is my predictions there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go off memory. I'm on Brazil, Croatia. I'll go 3-0 Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah,
Round.
Brazil. I like Croatia as well. I think they're sick. But
R9 scoring again.
yeah, R9, we even touched on.
I put R9 as Richarlison as my goal scorer.
Yeah. I'll go with Charlton as. Now I'll go with Vinny Jr. as first goal scorer of that game. Portugal versus Morocco, 2-1 to Portugal with Bruno getting a late goal. England to go to pens with France. It's Saka to get the winning penalty.
Oh,
and what was the other game?
That's it, bro.
Argentina, Netherlands.
Argentina, Netherlands. No, I actually can't even remember what I said earlier, but I'm gonna go with 2-1 Argentina. I'll go with. Who am I gonna go with? Yeah, Messi. Messi 2 goals.
Messi scored a free kick this game, by the way.
Yeah.
Old chap.
Well, that's it. Another episode of Free to Get podcast. Thank you, Ryan and Louis, for doing your thing as usual. And until next time, we're out.
Peace out, man. Bless, man. Love.